thank you for joining me for the Vampire Talk Show. I'm your host, Valaine. Val to my friends. My roommate discovered my coffin under the concrete floor of the basement in her new house and woke me up from a 100-year nap. Now, I'm reconnecting with old friends, making new ones, and of course, making a podcast. We have a great show for you tonight, but first, I have a story for you. The way to a vampire's heart, apart from mistake, is diversion. A vampire, especially one as old as I am, can get bored easily. There are only so many crosswords and crochet patterns we can do before going a little crazy. So, when there's something to occupy time in a pleasing manner, we seize the opportunity. One of the most time-consuming hobbies I've picked up lately is driving. Yes, driving. I know some of you hate it because you commute every day, but I do not. Back in the day, I didn't drive. I had a driver for that. I never saw the appeal until I watched the early 2000s road trip movies. What could possibly be so fascinating about driving? Well, I borrowed Allie's car and tried to see what the fuss was all about. Modern cars are so much faster and sleeker than they were in my time. Allie drives this zippy little Italian car, and it was easy to figure out the controls. I just drove about, on back roads all over the place. No destination in mind, and the scenery was beautiful. Vampires can see in the dark, you see, so whatever a human sees by day, I can see by night. The windows were down, the music was up, and my spirit was soaring. I know it may seem weird that I get such a kick out of driving when I can turn into a bat at any time I want and fly. However, there is something so calming about having one's attention on the road. The only thought in your head being the next turn or the next lyric of the song blasting forth from the speakers. Taking a drive lets you be truly in the moment, discovering places you didn't know about and wouldn't know about if you didn't listen to the little voice that said, I guess I'll take a left here. That feels right. And naturally, I got lost. I stumbled upon a gas station and filled up the tank because I'm a good roommate. And then a nice gas station attendant employee told me about GPS on my phone. Crisis averted once again by technology. But it got me wondering, is having an app or gadget for every one of life's inconveniences robbing us of our sense of adventure and gut instincts? If I didn't have GPS, I probably could have found my way home eventually with maps and directions from Good Samaritans. But in this age of convenience, no one has time for that. My guest this evening is none other than Sybil Eerie of the Spectral Sybil Show. Welcome, Sybil. I am so glad that you are here in the studio. Thank you for traveling so far.
Hello. I just flew in, and boy, are my arms tired.
Oh, that's a novel joke. I actually have never heard that one before. It's quite lovely. Did you have a team of writers come up with that for you?
No, it's a team of one over here. The afterlife is it's just a one person kind of deal.
Oh, are you one of those limbo people just stuck in just like a void of your own making?
Exactly.
Yes, fantastic. So in your limbo void, do you do much driving?
I don't do that much driving. Actually, it's more of a Tinkerbell sort of situation. If you just say my name enough times and clap and just believe in me, pretty much, I'll show up.
So kind of like fairies of yore that basically, if they didn't get enough attention, they would die, and only bringing them back was applause. So
you've really hit the spectral nail on the head.
Oh yes. Well, I feel like a lot of mythical creatures are that way. Most of the people on this show have probably been that way. They die without applause. Anyway, so Sybil, have you had any run-ins or any sort of like tidbits of gossip that you've come across recently with any entities that we might share in our mutual pool?
Well, I do spend a lot of time talking to trolls. So what's your average run-in with trolls?
Well, are we talking about the mythical kind or the online assholes? Or both, I suppose, because some of
Both.
them are crossover.
Both.
Yes. I've had my fair share of trolls in mythical land. Luckily, and knock on wood, I have not had too many online trolls, but I suppose that speaks to the unpopularity of my podcast.
Like the longer you go, the more trolls you accumulate. It's just in a slow line behind you.
Yes, I feel like the fact that I'm not being harassed online says that I probably don't have much of a listenership if I'm being honest. So I kind of wish I had some trolls here and there.
You know what? If you wish hard enough, then they will come.
If you wish it, they will come. Yes.
Yeah.
So, listeners, Sybil and I are old friends from way back, and we've kind of bumped into each other in other dimensions and circles of hell, and that sort of thing. And I think, let me see if I can still get your order right. It's a vodka martini with a side of blood and garnished with a bat wing. Am I getting that correct?
That's good for a Monday.
Okay,
yeah, it's good for a Monday.
I was just I was like, oh wait, well, there was that one night in Mexico, Chichen Itza or something like that, and we just had a ball and had way too many of those. Ooh.
Yeah, I've been really kind of on the salty eyeball margarita lately.
Oh, salty eyeball margarita. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Sour and sweet. And salty.
Yes, I am of the mind of having variety and spectrum when it comes to eats and drinks and whatnot. Of course, it's just through blood, but I still get the hints of texture and flavor there.
Yeah. Now, I was listening to one other episode of your incredible podcast, and you said that you like to wait outside the Olive Garden. Now, I was wondering, isn't the Olive Garden serving a lot of garlic?
Yes. Okay. So here's the thing. Everybody thinks that vampires hate garlic. It's not that we hate garlic. It's just it's very overwhelming because our senses are so heightened. And a lot of vampires, just like humans, people have their tastes. A lot of vampires, for some reason, are just put off by too much garlic. Ask any human, is there too much garlic in this? They'll usually say you can never have too much garlic. Or there's another human that says, ugh, I hate garlic. So it's the same thing. I am of the mind that you can never have too much garlic at all. So the stronger the better. Although it does no favors for my my odor around the house. So, but anyway, but yes, Olive Garden. Do you enjoy Olive Garden?
There's no Olive Gardens around where I am, so it's been quite a fortnight since I've made it into an Olive Garden.
Oh well, next time you're about, I know you're usually in a void and whatnot, but we should hit up an Olive Garden, and I mean, if you don't mind me feeding on you afterwards, no pressure. But yes, I do enjoy Olive Garden blood very much.
I've had worse feeding on me, so
yeah. Oh yes. Oh really? Like what?
Sometimes I get the spectral squatch attack. He just comes out. Actually, did you know Sasquatches do feed on blood from time to time?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yeah. No. Sometimes they are a little bit competitive with vampires when it comes to that. Unfortunately.
Absolutely, they are. You just can never really trust them.
No. So a spectral squatch comes.
Spectral squatch. Yeah.
Ooh, goodness. So what is your plan usually when that happens?
Well, normally I have made a sort of pact with them in the woods, where I do live. I live in sort of a virtual void, but I've created it to look like the woods, and they are inhabited by these sort of spectral squatches that pop up every now and then. They kind of emerge from spaceships. They say they're from the future. It's like a big long thing, and they like to feed on blood from time to time. It's sort of like the aperitif on
Hmm.
the pancakes that they like to serve. I don't know.
Oh,
The more I think about it, the more confusing it is.
the more confusing, the more interesting, because now I'm thinking about pancakes. Are they of the space pancake variety?
Yeah, yeah, they are. Pancakes come from Venus. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yes, definitely. That's one of my favorite encounter stories is the pancake aliens. So, in addition to these squatches, there's other things floating around in this virtual limbo void that you have created. One of my absolute favorites is Jack Baggins. Um,
No affiliation with Zach Bagans.
no, oh, I don't even know
None at
who that
all.
is. I have no
None at
idea
all.
who that is. But no, Jack Baggins, I think is quite cute, first of all, and then secondly, just so masculine, so manly and
Oh yeah.
intimidating and wonderful. So what's your experience with Mr. Jack Baggins?
Jack Baggins is a real guy's guy. Very similar in some ways to Zach Bagans, but pretty much no correlation at all. They are both ghost hunters, and by ghost hunters, I mean hunting for ghosts, not necessarily paranormal investigators, because you can be one and not the other. And I have to mention that he is definitely a hunter of the ghosts and a hunter of his inner masculinity. So,
Hmm.
arms crossed, hands on the cross. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. Actually, Allie, my producer, she is also a paranormal investigator, uh, self-labeled, I suppose. But she doesn't like the term ghost hunting. She actually says that she goes ghost friending, because
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
yes, yes, it's all about just she just wants to make friends. Poor thing. The only people that like her are vampires and ghosts, I guess. Mm.
They're the ones that stick around.
Oh, yes, yes. Well, you give them attention and love, they give it right back. You get what you give. Who said that? You get what you give. Was that a.
Phil Collins. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I think it was the Radicals in an early 2000s song. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
It's a long time ago.
I'm only up to the early 2000s in my history absorption since I've
Mm.
been asleep for a century. So, and I really do love the early 2000s. It was crazy. So much denim and toner, and it was just a lot. Um, so I digress. So, Jack Baggins, does he have any like particular like conquest that he's particularly proud of that you might know of?
Conquest. Yeah, he's really into spooky blondes. It's not really any conquests in the paranormal world, although he's really always kind of trying to find that unattainable romance, the
Mm.
spooky blonde, the one that got away. But until then, he'll just have to settle for the human realm of unrequited love, and that is his curse in life.
Curse or sentence? Yeah. When it comes to humans, because I've actually read a few stories where humans are in romantic relationships with spirits,
Yeah.
and sometimes sexual relationships with spirits, and then I think there was one or a few where they actually floated down the aisle, I suppose, and got married. What do you think about humans? I mean, love is love. I know this, but it seems a little bit, I don't know, a little bit odd to me that humans would want anything to do with ghosts in a romantic sense.
I guess ghost sex is a very easy idea to come to terms with, when it's just you, right? You're kind of doing that anyway. You're kind of imagining something else there. So it's not really that far of a stretch, I guess, in terms of really lining yourself out for a spectral relationship forever.
I mean,
Why not?
yes. I mean, I maybe it's just maybe some of them might be the single older people that are just tired of everyone asking them, "Oh, when are you going to go and have a partner? And when are you getting married?" And they're just like, "You know what? No, I'm dating a ghost. That's why you can't see them." And then they're just happy being on their own, which to each their own. But yeah, no, I maybe that's part of it. But I mean, also,
you gotta pick the run of the mill also if you want to. There's a huge ocean of fish to pick from,
Oh,
lots of dead people.
Absolutely. Well, and the other side of that is if I was a ghost, why would I want to hang out with a human? Like, and be tethered to this plane still? I mean, ghosts walking around and having fun and haunting things, yeah, that makes sense. But to be tethered to a single person for not just life, but eternity, it seems a little extreme to me. But I'm also a commitment phobe, so single and loving it.
Do you believe in shower ghosts?
Shower ghosts, please
Ghosts
enlighten
that
me.
watch you while you shower?
Oh. I mean, yes, I do. And I've never caught one before, but yes, shower ghosts are a real thing. And sometimes, uh, and this is completely true, sometimes if I'm alone and naked and I think about shower ghosts, I'll actually pull a funny face or just like do a real quick look into a corner where they might be standing and try and freak them out. Even though there's
Gotcha.
even though there's probably nothing there. But yes, no, sometimes it's one of those things. So yeah. I mean, when you talk to ghosts for as long as I have, you just kind of realize that they're all over the place all the time. So messing with them back is sometimes a good thing.
Yeah.
Keep them on their toes, on their non-existent toes.
In the shower.
I mean, if I was a ghost, I think I would take a look, especially
Yeah.
if time was no consequence and I could go back and forth in time and planes and existence and whatnot. I think I would actually go check out like, exes and people I had crushes
Ooh.
on and that sort of thing. And then haunt assholes, of course. People who
Like with a personal vendetta. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially ones who are actually afraid of ghosts. Yes. But yes, I think I would. And, I think a lot of people would be like, oh, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Yes, you would. You would walk in on people doing it. You would walk in on people using facilities and whatnot. So
it's my mother's favorite threat.
Your mother's favorite threat is that
to threaten me,
haunt you after she's gone?
Yeah.
And she's still with us, yes?
Yeah.
So when does she pull this threat out? Like, what do you do that's so bad that she says that she's going to haunt you?
Any chance she gets, really. Any chance she gets, she pulls that one out. Like, if you don't keep my bird that's gonna live to 100 years old, I will haunt you.
Oh, so you're being left a bird after she dies. Oh.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations. I
hate that bird.
What kind of bird is it?
It's a red macaw.
Noisy, I bet.
They live very long. It's currently like 30 something already.
Oh no,
Yeah.
60 years to go.
Yes.
Oh, 60 years of screeching and poop and oh god. Yes.
Oh yeah. It's
Ugh.
currently dating a chicken. So
Oh, wow. That's a pull for a macaw. My goodness.
yeah.
Yeah.
None of
I
this is all real, by the way. This is a
yeah.
complete true story.
Well, there's nothing but the truth on this podcast.
That's right.
Yep. Absolutely 100% true. Have you heard of the chicken ghost that's roaming the Midwest?
Absolutely not. Tell me more.
Okay, so there has been sightings of a giant chicken like all over the Midwest and in the United States. And uh it's been seen like almost like a Sasquatch where you could like down a road, it'll just cross the road, literally a chicken crossing the road. And
Unbelievable.
yes, and people are calling it a ghost chicken, but some are arguing that it's a cryptid, and it's just it's insane. So yes, there's a ghost chicken in the Midwest somewhere, lurking and crossing roads. And who knows, it might already be on the other side. We don't know.
I wonder if it started out as a chicken or as a ghost egg. What happened there?
That is a really good question. I think it was an egg personally, but then where did the egg come from? Hmm. Must ponder this more. Do you have any other? Do you have a favorite entity or spirit or person that's wandering around your virtual void?
Well, the other day I came across zombie share, and that was a real treat.
Zombie share. Oh my.
Zombie share.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, because I
Yeah.
mean, the share that I know and have learned about is alive and well out here in the
Mhm.
U.S. But you know, as we all know, there are different timelines and universes and pocket dimensions and whatnot. So that's amazing that you got share, zombie share. What a get! What a get!
Yeah. There's all sorts of things floating around out here in the spectral realm. And sometimes you come across zombie share. One of my least favorite people I ran into was Rodney. Now Rodney is a he's a ghost, and he's currently haunting a hospice, and he rides around a golf cart with his skeletal wife. And he's a boomer, and he died in the villages in Florida, and he is not pleasant, let me tell you. This
Oh,
guy.
yes. I think I've seen a couple of videos of this, and he puts his skeleton wife in lingerie, is my
Oh, that's
understanding.
right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You really find a lot of lingerie laying around a haunted hospice. You had no idea.
I mean, for a skeleton, she looks amazing in that
She
lingerie. So
she really fills it out.
yes, yes. I don't know what she's doing with him, but you know, you love
Not
what you
much.
love,
She's not doing much.
but just enough, according to him. So, um, so your spectral void, pocket dimension, etc., etc. I saw a bit of the black metal Easter.
Oh, right.
Yes, and I was watching some of that, and I saw that it went on for nearly 12 hours.
12 hours. Yeah.
Is that the longest that you go, or do you go for longer sometimes?
I've been live 24/7 for 16 days straight.
Wow, I cannot.
Sleeping, everything.
Wow.
Well, not everything, not everything. Not going, not
I was
showering or, bathroom stuff, but everything else, yeah.
I was gonna say everything. Uh, wow, I cannot imagine being on live for that long. I mean, it takes a lot out of me just doing a 30-minute podcast show.
Yeah.
And we
Definitely
have
have to build up to it.
yeah, now and we have the beauty of editing. So Allie makes me sound good. So yes, I can't imagine. So and how long have you been doing these live streams and whatnot?
Since I did my very first one, I started doing live streams on Instagram during 2020, and then I switched over to Twitch. And then I had another channel I was doing it on, but I've been doing just this channel since 2023, about a year ago actually. So and yeah, so I'm used to doing live streaming for about 4 years now.
Wow. Wow. Well, I think you're absolutely killing it. I don't know too much about live streaming yet. But from what I see on your end, your production is quite impressive, I must say.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. It's just me.
Yes, company of one. Yes. No, I know very well what that is like. Yeah, it seems that the pandemic really spurred a bunch of like online personalities and shows and podcasts. I mean, that's when Allie started getting into podcasting. Was during the pandemic, and I think that is just wonderful. Like people just finding their creative juices and pouring it into a glass for the masses, you know?
All of a sudden you let all the entities living inside of you out to play, and that's what's really weird.
Yes, let the freak flag fly is what I say.
Yeah.
All the personas all the time. Indeed. Well, Sybil, I'm so glad you're on the show, and now we are going to go into some paranormal gossip. This past Monday was the total solar eclipse. In case you missed it, things got a little darker for a while, and then it got light again. At least, that's what I heard. But what you didn't hear was that this particular eclipse and planetary alignment briefly invoked an elder space god. Not a space god that causes madness or crushes cities. The space god has been asleep for millennia, and upon waking for this chance invocation, rubbed their eyes and saw a pantheon of gods surrounding them. Only when they started snickering did the elder space god look down and see the Milky Way and blush. You see, a little less than a millennia ago, Loki had slipped the god's hand in warm water that made them relieve themselves in their slumber, hence the Milky Way. The embarrassment was brief, as the eclipse moved out of completion and put the space god back to sleep. I can't imagine what kind of dreams that poor god will have now. Luckily, in space, no one can hear you dream. If you have a bit of gossip, a misconnection, or personals ad to share with the show, please email thevampiretalkshow@gmail.com or slide into my DMs on Twitter, Facebook, Insta, or TikTok. Did you hear about this space god?
You know, it's not unusual to hear about some sort of eldritch creature being summoned during eclipses and world events and everything, but most of the time I feel like you can feel them rather than see them. Everything just feels a little bit off. Usually they come around during the solar events like Gatorade and retrograde or whatever it's called. And yeah, I think all we have to do when we feel like we're being watched over by some eldritch god who doesn't care if we live or die, I think we just have to realize that we're part of some sort of cosmic joke, and maybe we're in on it and maybe not.
Yes, I think so too. I mean, if you think about it, half the reason why humans get cats or dogs is for their personal entertainment and enjoyment. There's nothing truly benevolent about having a pet. It's a little bit selfish. I can't help but think that gods are the humans and we are the pets. And of course, you love screwing around with a cat with a laser pointer. And I feel like a lot of the bullshit that happens during these retrogrades or Gatorades or what have you, I think is just a laser pointer that a god just happened to pick up and remembered
Mm-hmm.
and put batteries back into it. It was like, oh, yes, I remember this was really fun to do. And then screws with everybody. So it's a shame.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you, how do you keep yourself from the crushing boredom of eternity? How would you keep yourself occupied as basically a pretty much a living god yourself?
Hmm. I mean, like, I have lots of different hobbies. I have many, many, many hobbies. I do a lot of crafting, crochet. I like to cook, even though I don't eat human food, but I like
Mm.
cooking for other people. And then feeding on them. So I get to taste my own stuff, but through blood. And I just picked up recently driving, and also I have a century of films and TV that I have never seen before in my life.
Mm.
So that's what I've been doing for the last couple of years, is that I've just been catching up slowly over time, and also reading books. And there's so much going on, and there's so much media just in the last 100 years that I've missed. So I feel like I'm set for probably the next 50 years or so. And then of course people keep churning stuff out. So although I don't know if this planet is even going to be here in 50 years. So, you know, and then we'll see how
Mm.
that works. But yes.
That's a good point. There's millennia to catch up on just being produced every day, all across the world.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And actually, I think the next hobby that I might pick up, if I'm not just, couch bound and watching, Seinfeld, I think I might pick up curling, because
Curling.
curling, yes, it's fascinating to me, that sport. Um, and I feel like, because like you have to be able to like kind of be still and slide, and I feel like my dexterity would really lend to it. Also, it's inside
Hmm.
a stadium, no sunlight. But yeah,
And I have one more question. So
absolutely.
what do you think, as someone who is, basically ultimately aware of all of the trends, the financial trends, and because I would assume that like every vampire would be sort of a billionaire, right? You know exactly what's gonna happen, what's happened before, what worked. What do you think about crypto?
Oh, yes. I heard of crypto, and I thought it was
Mm.
cryptid related. I had the world's greatest cryptozoologist on the show, and they uh, just very nicely explained that crypto had nothing to do with cryptids. Um,
Oh.
and in I'm not very financially savvy. Being alive as long as I have, yes, I do see trends and I see patterns in the universe, and there are things that are open to me. Like, people think that I can read their mind. No, not really. I'm very good at picking up on signals, um, because I've been around the block a million and a half times, and but I'm rubbish with money, because vampires are notoriously bad with math. So
Mm.
everybody has this idea that we are wealthy because we, bought IBM stock back in the day before it was anything. Uh,
God, you guys really saw that coming, huh?
some of us did. Most of us did not, because, like I said, we are impulsive and bad at math, and we can't do anything about money and interest. I can't with those numbers. Um, and I'm definitely not a wealthy vampire. I used to be, but not anymore, because I woke up in Maryland and with nothing. So
Damn it.
yes, I know. Um, Although I graciously was adopted by a couple of humans, so I have a roof over my head and a coffin in the basement. So no complaints here. That's all I really need to live. So, or to unlive, as it were. All right, my dear. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, and I really hope that you would come back, maybe invite a friend or two.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
All right, well, that's all for the show tonight, kiddies. Remember, embrace the dark, the strange, and unusual. It just may embrace you back. Thank you to Sybil for being our guest today. You can find her on Twitch at Spectral Sybil. Please consider becoming a Patreon member of the show. You can be a Baby Bat Sticker Club member where you get stickers every month, or you can be a Tarot Speakeasy member where you can get a tarot reading and tarot cards sent to you every month. Please subscribe on patreon.com/The Vampire Talk Show. This has been an Opus Nox Media production. To find out more, go to opusnoxmedia.com.